So good. Just feel how the energy is being pulled to your extremities, right? It's so easy. And again, anybody can do this pose. So the sequences I'm showing you for the yoga translations and the first part of the teacher training is for every level. You know, so this is still the restorative and the therapeutics.
So if someone had trouble like initiating that movement, like for me it's kind of natural, I just use my feet.
Oh, I just figured it out. I just figured out how to map the body movement. You're literally, imagine that you're just kicking out one leg at a time, and so you just want to stretch one leg at a time, and that leg is the one that leads you that way. You start extending it, and all of a sudden,
yeah, so that's great. See, Ron, that's why you'd be such a great teacher, because like you just notice, like, what do I do? And it's what you guys will write out too, and we'll share it out. Like, so extend one leg, right, and then the other, and see what happens in the body. So really, we could just do it from the hips, but he's doing it in a way that's a little bit more exaggerated.
Yeah, because I was feeling it from my core.
Yeah, from
like
the
I was doing a pelvic twist. And then that, like, kind of.
well, that makes sense. You can extend it. All you can do, lead with your ankles, you can lead with your knees, or go all the way back to the source and lead with your hips.
Yeah, that's right. So, like, I do the same thing with banking. Like, I show people how to bank, and it's like an airplane. You're kind of driving. Like, I don't know if you were there when we did the supervised snatches. I was like, oh God, should I show people how to bank? Because then they're just like, whoa, you know. But we literally can start to feel how we're steering the energy in space. And how everything works on these spins and these spirals, and we're all trying to move in linear lines and wondering why there's so much efforting, right? So it really starts to teach us about how easy, when we get something moving, how it is to keep it in motion. And when something is in motion, it stays in motion until another force is acted upon it. So we just have to play with that, and then realize, like, and even in dancing, since we're all like crazy dancers here, you can just notice how effortless dance can be when you start to spiral and spin and move in certain patterns, and how effortful it can be when we start to do some linear movements. And that's fine. They're both great. They're just different versions of reality, right? So cool. So that was like a longer, chillaxing rendition, but that was great. So it was a great question and a great way to break it down, because some people just can't win shoulder. I'm just like, don't worry about it. They did it next time. So shoulders down away from the ears, right? Engage, back bend. Good. So we're going to come back into our floating child's pose. So just draw the energy in. So this would be an exhale, right? So from the beginning, we're going to inhale, open our arms. Exhale, draw it in. Inhale, open. Exhale, contract. So we start to marry those two movements. The inhalation is an expansion, filling the chest. The exhalation, drawing the energy back to the core, back to the center. So the next inhalation, we're going to bring it big into a 5-pointed star. So if we open up the arms, open up the legs, our hips are still heavy. If we press our hips up, we start to, the swing slides down the back. We just keep our hips heavy in this one. And then we're going to bring our hands to prayer namaste, in front of the heart. At the same time, we squeeze our legs together. Straight legs. So hands are wrapped around the swing. Heart. Yeah, so namaste around the swing. Now you lift your hips and press back. So as you arch and open and press back, lifting your hips a lot, squeezing your legs together, you're holding them by your forearms. So this is one of my favorite poses. It's so easy and it feels so good. And I usually let people just hang out here. It's like their first inversion, really. Their first back bend. So just kind of feel what it's like to start to shift the energy. Feel what it's like in your forehead, in the crown of your head, in the back of your head. Just notice what's happening in the brain chemistry, just with this tiny movement. Now I want you guys to sit up and watch me for a second. So just sit back down, and again, we'll fly through the sequence pretty quickly. But for this first one, I want you to watch the transitions, because I'm going to give you instructions when you're upside down, and then the brain's like, what? So from namaste, I start to release my arms. So I simply bring my arms down to the ground. I always do semicircles, so this is pretty. The tops of my hands on the ground, not the bottoms, right? So the tops of my hands are on the ground. I keep my legs straight. So the only thing I changed was I let go of the swing and circled my arms around, right? So this is called lotus or ladle. So the energy is pouring out now. So this is enough for a lot of people. So when I released my arms, the swing naturally just slid down into my waist. It'll just slide down if we let ourselves kind of dip. Now I bend my knees, I reach back and grab for my ankles and come into bow pose. So here I'm pressing my hips up. So people like to do this, just squeeze the legs together to keep the knees in line with the hips. Pressing up, opening the heart. On the exhale, I reach up and step. Okay, so let's do that together. So we're going to come back into floating child. This is the whole sequence, right? Floating child, wrapping around the leg loops, right? Inhale, open to 5-pointed star. Hips are heavy, staying on straight legs, just open, open, open. Exhaling, come into namaste. Inhale, lean back. Exhale, go deeper into the pose. Just a few deep breaths here. So legs are straight, right? Squeezing together. And now on the next exhale, I'm going to let go of my arms. Exhaling, release. Inhaling, arms up overhead. Tops of the hands on the ground. Slide, yeah. And then slide into your waist. All the way. Slide into your waist hard. All you have to do is bend down with the upper body and it'll slide. Unless the clothes might be a little
Yeah, it was for whatever reason.
Okay, so legs are straight here, right? Pointed toes. Hands are on, tops of the hands are on the ground, straight arms. Like we like to make nice pretty lines. So we're seeing this line that we do from our toes to our fingertips. Can you feel that? The difference? Awesome. Then we bend the knees, reach back for the bow pose, grab the ankles. Some people don't have access to this much of a back bend. They don't have to grab their feet. They can just kind of like let their arms dangle out to the side or energetically reach back. But if it's available, if you reach for the ankles and press the hips up, and engaging the inner thighs by squeezing the knees together slightly, then you can open the heart. Take a few breaths here. On the next inhale, we're going to reach up, hold on to the swing, and sit back down. Exhale, release the toes. All right?
That was a rough back bend. That's a tough one.
So it should feel really good, and it's a deep stretch, but the swing is creating space in the lower back where people are normally contracting when they're in a back bend, so it should feel supportive. If they go too far, it's just not going to feel good. So just let people kind of warm up to opening that deeply with support. So it's as if somebody is underneath you, like pushing you up, right? So swing is helping you meditate. Cool. Does that feel okay? Any questions? Awesome. We're going to do it again. Okay? So let's just, like, again, merge the breath with the movement. So inhale, arms out to the sides. Exhale, pull it in. Floating child. Inhale, open up. 5-pointed star. Exhale, hands to prayer in front of the heart. Namaste. Squeeze the legs together. Inhaling here. Exhale, go deeper. Inhale, release your arms down to the ground. Exhale, swing them over your head. Legs stay straight. Nice pointed fingers and toes. Little pose. Exhale, bend your knees. Inhale, reach back. Holding on to the ankles. And press the hips up to the sky in the next inhalation. And exhale, just soften into the pose. Just notice the shifts that are happening in the body. On the next inhalation, reach up, grab the swing. Exhale, seat. Nice. So after doing that sequence, we neutralize the spine by doing some chillaxing. So make sure the swing is right there in the heart. I usually let it come up a little more. And then just swing it out from side to side.
Getting a little like pinchy behind my knee. Do you ever put it like on your calf or just twist
I
it
wear,
up?
you probably noticed I
Just
have
because
a
I put
certain
leggings
genre. Yeah. I have a certain genre to the look.
Yeah.
And it all has to do with what works in the swing. I like to bunch up my pants behind my knee and give it a little push.
I have
What-
leggings I'll wear like
Yeah.
all the time.
What's happening is there are kidney points behind the knee.
It's not painful, it's just like,
Yeah,
you know.
it's sensational.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are the tender spots. The underarms, the back of the knees, the inner thighs, the inside of the arms, the waist. These are all parts that get completely ignored. So it's a serious activation, and it takes some getting used to, particularly if you have sensitive skin. So you will get red, a little kind of rashy kind of feeling. So let's just come down. We're going to reset. How'd that feel? Cool.
It's got some adjustments.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was the chillaxing sequence. So we go from child's to five-pointed star to namaste to ladle to bow, back to chillaxing, right? And when you just kind of like move through that with the breath like we did, it looks so cool. And people love it, and they like the kind of little routines and sequences. So after doing sequence, I usually just mix it up. So I get people grounded out of the swing. We're not doing anything too intense right now, but it's just good practice. It's good practice to reset. So now we're going to move into some down dog poses, okay? So we can do some forward folds. Other people have done acro here. You mentioned acro. Okay, cool. So folded leaf is the most basic pose, right? So we're going to stretch the swing down a lot. We're going to bring the swing into our hip flexors. Now, if you can't get it into your hip flexors, you can always like bounce up. But usually, if we have the swing at the right height for our shoulders, it'll be at the right height for our hips. So then we just lean forward, right? So we lean forward and let our hands come down to the ground.
Oh, that's so nice.
So you have this feeling of being. So this is the weird camera angle too. Can you see my boobs? Okay. So right now we're gonna go from an up dog, a down dog, excuse me, to an upside down dog. So I'll show you the difference. So this is down dog, feels really good with the swing supporting us. Now we can completely lift our legs and bring them out wide, right? We always start out wide. And then we can hook our feet. So feet always hooks on the outside, in, outside. Yeah. Oops, that's a leg loop. Hook your feet on the swing.
Oh, on the swing. Oh, like that.
Yeah. So this is an upside down dog, right? So we just went from down dog to upside down
I
dog.
think my swing's a little low for this, maybe.
No, it's fine.
Is your head, like if I let go of my arms, my head would be fully...
it's fine.
Okay.
All you have to do is engage your arms more. So you tend to be more flexy than not, so I would have you engage your shoulders more.
Like to just be like more down dog, kind of?
Yeah, so you're pressing your arms in.
Oh yeah,
so,
I just give more pressure in the palms.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm super flexy too, and like I have to remember to engage a little bit more than most people, because I can just be
Overextend.
Yeah, overextending, exactly. So from upside down dog, we're going to come into scorpion pose. To do that, we're just pulling ourselves forward. So when we pull ourselves forward, there are certain cues that you'll hear me say, which is like stacking your wrists over your shoulders. Most people won't know what you're talking about unless they've done some sort of gymnastics. But if we bring our feet over our head and stack our bones, that's great. Then we come into a scorpion pose, or at least a supported scorpion pose. From there, we just press back, upside down dog. And usually I'll play with this a few times with people with the breath. So coming forward again, inhaling open, exhale, press back. Inhale, open. Nice. Exhale, press back. So these would be like the substitution for our vinyasas. I have a few different vinyasa flows that I do. Exhale, press back. This time we're going to walk our hands all the way back. Cool. Bring our legs out wide and down. So this is too high, this is down. So L shape with the body. Cool. So we walk our hands back. Cool. So we have this tension in the swing, right? And then I like to play, I call these alley-oops. So I like to ollie from side to side. So I'm just swaying my lower body.
That's so good.
Yeah. So you can press back even more hard. Like walk
Like
your
walk
hands back.
back.
Yeah. So you'll feel that tension in the swing.
Yeah.
There it is. You can just tell when people are like they hit the sweet spot and it just feels right. The energy feels right in the room. Yeah. So now we want to just practice bringing one hand off the ground then the other. So we're kind of ollieing to the side. Only if it feels good.
Like the opposite from the side you're swinging.
Yeah. And you might swing around, and that's okay too, right? And Rob's like, woo! But like seriously, you get to do all these cool breakdancing moves.
Totally.
Yeah, that you know somebody wouldn't be able to do otherwise. Like, how are they going to do the alley toe touch otherwise? So yeah.